Hello, everyone, and welcome our viewers around the world here and here in Nigeria. This is Business Incorporated, live from Channels Television in Lagos, Nigeria's financial capital. I am Bosin Namofayek. Coming up on the program today, a number of investigations into tax evasion in Europe to start very soon. And also on the program, the Reserve Bank of South Africa raises its key rate by 50 basis points to a new level. Plus, we'll take a look at how the fixed income market in Nigeria fared in the month of January, ending today. Now, these are the details for the next 30 minutes. Stick around with us here on the program. Let's start from Germany, where the retail sales figure released today declined unexpectedly in December from the month of November 2015. But growth for the full year came in at its strongest for more than 20 years, according to the data from the Federal Statistics Office, the Stasis said today. Retail sales in Germany, Europe's largest economy, fell by 0.2% in December in real adjusted terms from the previous month, after a 0.4% increase in the month of November. Economists in the Dow Jones Newswire survey had forecast a 0.2% increase in December 2015. Germany's retail sales were 1.5% higher in real terms in the year to end December 2015, according to the Statistics Office. Retail sales increased by 2.7% in real terms. That's the highest annual increase since 1994. And trading at the markets in Europe still ongoing as a number of economic data are out as we speak. Let's start a quick roundup. Let's give you a quick rundown of the markets today. Asian market is rounded off as we speak, averaging 2.8% on some of the indexes we're looking at. The Chinese market, the Shanghai Composite, 3.1%. In the green, the Nikkei 225, 2.80%, led the rest of the Asia region in the positive, and the rest of the global markets today as the Bank of Japan decided to adopt a negative interest rate direction that had a strong effect on markets around the world. As we speak, about 1:30 Nigerian time, the European markets up average 1.2%. The German DAX about 0.5% in the green. The French market 0.75% also to the north. The Italian market, the FTSE MIB 1.55%. The Spanish markets, that's the IBEX 50, also better by 1.3%. And the Stocks 600, the broader pan-European index, 0.6%, also in the green. If you look at the Wall Street opening in about 2 hours Nigerian time, futures also, the Dow futures also in triple digits on a surprise move by the Bank of Japan. That's the biggest story today. That decision by the Japanese central bank moved the dollar to the upside, also helping crude oil right now around $33.32 a barrel. That's about 0.3% today. So some of the stories we are looking at right now. So will I go over to the Frankfurt Stock Exchange. Javier Agüedes is a DWTV financial correspondent for Channels Television. And welcome to the program, Javier. A good Friday to you. Let's start with a raft of economic data from mainland Europe on the Newswire. We'll start with German retail sales. Are the French GDP growth for us and the Swiss economy turning a corner for the better? Talk to us, Javier.
Hi, Bosun. Good to see you, and a good Friday for you, too. Well, what a week it has been, and it seems like the end is going to be a little bit better, even though those numbers are not completely positive. We do see that, in general, the economy here in the Eurozone is recovering slowly, definitely slower than many want to, but at least recovering. And along with those figures that you just presented to us, there is one very important figure as well, which is the latest inflation rate for the Eurozone. Remember that the target set by the European Central Bank is 2%. We just got a little impulse there because the inflation rate is now at 0.4%, up from 0.2. So that is a little step, a baby step, if you will, but at least it shows that all the efforts that the European Central Bank is putting in, all the money that it is pouring into the economy here in the Eurozone, is at least having, to a certain extent, an effect. And that is something that has further motivated investors in today's trading session, at least here in Frankfurt. Frankfurt.
Well, let's look at outside the European market. The Bank of Japan, well, should get a handshake today. Thank you very much for helping markets around the world come back into positive territory, adopting negative interest rate story, driving the dollar higher. Oil prices also higher as we speak. How much of this news is flowing into your market in Frankfurt, Javier?
Well, it had the exact same impact here. Everyone loves the Japanese for what they just did. They saved the week and the humor of investors, at least for a brief period of time. And that is what we still have to see, because there is a little bit of a risk there. The yen, the Japanese currency, has lost value as a consequence of these negative interest rates. And the problem is that, as we know, the Asian currencies all compete against each other. So if the Chinese react to this by further devaluating their currency, the yuan, then that might have a negative impact in the markets, because we know how allergic everyone is to any type of action Chinese central bank that might come as a surprise. So nobody wants to. Investors were waiting for any type of action by central banks, and now we got it. And that's why we are seeing those green numbers in a week that was marked by a lot of trouble and a lot of negative numbers.
Yes, a week of very bittersweet stories, Javier. Squeeze the trading week together for us. Give us a sense of how we're finishing off today. I'm looking at the DAX across over your shoulder there, though still in the green, as it were, but a little bit, not really a V curve, but always something down there, but heading north.
That's right. Well, the gains at the DAX are quite moderate, and if we take a look at the week overall, it is possibly set to end the week a little bit lower than it started. But what a roller coaster ride this has been. And despite the fact that we are seeing the green numbers now and that everything seems to be okay, well, there are still some giant elephants in the room, especially the oil price, because the fact is that the problems that have caused all the losses and all the trouble in this trading week are not gone at all. They are still there. We still don't know what is going to happen with that oil price, with the overproduction in the different oil markets, and that is something that will still join us next week. And on top of that, we have to keep in mind that we still have unresolved issues on the certainty of what's going on in the Chinese economy. So far, the results of the companies have not shown that much of a big impact. We are seeing quite positive earnings in this latest report season. We have the Federal Reserve in the United States still unresolved about what is going to happen with the interest rate hike there. So all in all, yes, investors are basically ignoring the harsh reality that is in front of them, but we will have more trouble ahead, that's for sure.
Well, Javier, let's go have a nice weekend. We'll come back on Monday, then we'll continue the conversation. That will be the first trading day in February. Then we'll look back into January and see if we have backlogs of what you call the big elephants in the room. We'll see how many elephants left in the room on Monday when we come back fresh, bright, and early. See you on Monday afternoon lunchtime, Javier, and to the rest of your team in Frankfurt, DWTV for Channels Television. We'll be back after the break. Still a number of economic data from leading economists in Europe, and that will be part of the conversation we're going into after this time out.